What up this morning? How this little morning show is helping men around the planet. Yes, around the planet. Inspire themselves to be the best version of themselves. No, not yesterday's men, today's men. This morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. Well, Mornings in the Lab were excuse.
When something negative comes up.
Building muscle up here. Blood flow.
Nobody is expecting, John.
If the lady's saying that, you're doing
It's a super
Be entertained by fun over here.
How if I slap? Has my sleep been good? Is that
Here we go. We're back at it again, guys. Yes, the loop begins. It's Monday. The loop starts. You got myself. I'm Keith Phyllis. I'm the host of the biggest morning show for men on the planet. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. I got my friends here this morning. Got John Anderson over there. The guy's picked up a few heavy things in his life. Oh, yeah, and he put them down. And we got our good friend, Seamarty Fit. He's over there. He's hanging out in Maryland, getting his day started. Marty's been around since day one, and he ain't going anywhere. We got producer Jimmy on the buttons. And we got our good friend Tommy in the Mornings in the Lab community, engaging with all of you, driving the numbers up, saying hello, helping you guys achieve those big, audacious goals. This morning in the lab, we are all about inspiring men to be their best selves. We're going to get into it, you guys here today, to give you guys some things to talk about, think about, and help you guys get out of bed, hit those most audacious goals, not hit the snooze button and get going. Jory Jansen's joining us here today as well at about the 45-minute mark. We're going to talk about hidden sugars in our food, guys. Sugar just doesn't start with an S. There's a lot more happening when it comes to the food we're putting into our bellies. And we're going, hey, why am I not hitting my body composition goals? Well, hey, maybe there's some hidden sugars in the foods that you're eating. And we asked John Anderson the question last week, what's the number one life hack we all could do if we want to get ahead and eliminate sugar? But what happens if there's sugar in everything we eat? We don't even know it. George Jansen's going to be here today to talk about that. Jimmy, let's bring the boys in. I want to see what the boys are up to today. I'm eager to chat with the boys this morning. We got Marty in black on black, Johnny in black on black. Look at the red hats, the red headset. Bilous is in black with a nice fez hat. What's up, Marty?
What's up, man? It's black on gold, man.
I know. Well, yeah, okay. I had to give you something to say. What's up, Johnny Anderson? How are you, brother?
I'm good, baby. I'm good. Fuck, I had to recover yesterday from Ben left yesterday morning, so I had yesterday. Oh my god, I had a couple of major naps. Oh man.
Yeah, because you're busy shooting content. I've been watching some of the content. I've been watching. So I got to tell you, brother, the content you dropped yesterday. I don't know if who shot this weekend, Marty, or not, but you inspired today's conversation with Jory.
I saw something, man.
When you held up the watermelon and the pineapple, and I was like, oh, I think we're going to talk sugar today with John and Jory because, you know, we all want to go to the food department and have our fruits, and we're all making decisions. And fuck, there's sugar in everything. Oh, by the way, nation, we drop swears in this show, so we got kids around. Put headsets on or get them out of the room. But Johnny, you made tons of content, eh?
Yeah, you know, it's when it comes down to it. It's like, I guess when he's here, when Ben is here, he's my guy.
Yeah.
The fucking camera's just running around the clock, and so it's like there's never really any place where you kind of just sit down and recharge because you always are, you know, that thing's on you. And granted, sometimes you want to pick up that stuff. Like he freaking films me for 20 minutes when I'm meditating. He films the whole thing. I mean, so it's like, you know, I close my eyes, it's on. I open my eyes, it's on. So, I mean, he gets up with me. You know, I get up at 2:59. He's there. He mirrors everything I do. So, anyway, so long and short of it, it's just a matter of taking some deep breaths. And you don't realize how much it wears you out until you do it.
There you go. Good morning. Good morning, JR Russell. I see you there in the comments. You're joining the biggest morning show live conversation with myself. I'm Keith Bilous. That's Marty Fit over there. That's John Anderson. The only show to help you get out of bed. Don't hit the snooze button. We're talking big goals, inspiring men to achieve greatness. What were you going to say there, Marty? You were thinking of something there?
I can't even remember, but I don't know. Yeah.
Hey, Marty,
but,
go ahead.
No, I was going to say I need to get somebody to walk around me all day.
That's it. Yeah.
I need to do that too. I need to adopt that. Strategy.
Here's the thing, brother. Here, if I could set it up perfectly, it would be where someone would be close enough to me where they could just be with me a section of the day. That makes sense because when we're too far apart, so we spend like long weekends together because we're 5 hours apart. So it's like just fucking crush. Take a break, take a break. When, like I got some buddies who their people are close enough. They spend, 5 days a week 4 hour chunks. That's a much easier rhythm to run. That's way
easier. I understand that.
Yeah. Marty, so if you're going to do it, keep that in mind. You can even start off with somebody an hour or two a day. And you know what you'll find is people that want to get into the business. They'll want to come and just be a part. And you can, a lot of times you got to pay them, of course, but you're also teaching them. So it's great on both sides of the fence,
Good idea. Yep.
You know what I did? It was really cool over the weekend, though. I did hire another member of my team. What I didn't realize at the time was I knew it was going to be a good deal for him. But when I got him on board, he like kind of fighting off tears, thanking me. He was like, this is a life-changing opportunity for me. So that fires me up. God damn it.
Right? Yeah. Good morning, Adam Holroyd. Good morning, Amy Muriner. I see you guys there in the comments. Good to have you guys here this morning. Johnny, I get the same joy when I get somebody around me who is eager to learn, who has a great attitude and fucking many ways. Marty. I met Marty. Marty's like, dude, I want to hang out. I want to learn. And, we've been on our journey together here, and he leans in, he asks questions, he learns. I'm like, fuck it. It's as fulfilling as it is for me as anybody else, frankly. Right. So, but Marty, I got to tell you, man, I'm waiting. We know there's going to be a day, Marty, when we're going to get full on instructions from John Anderson, how to use the bidet or how to properly wipe your ass because what's his name? Adam or Ben. Ben's going to be around. And all of a sudden, Johnny's going to go in the restroom there. There's going to be a camera there, and we're going to have techniques on Instagram how to properly use a bidet, courtesy of John Anderson.
I hope we don't see
I'll just tell you right now. You basic when you're done. You see the nice thing about the bidet is if you take a long dump. If you wait too long without a bidet to wipe your ass, it's really difficult because the shit gets dried up in there, right? But with the bidet, you can sit there as long as you want because you're getting water to basic. So you turn it on, right? The first benefit is you can take a really long dump without making your cleanup worse. That's the first one.
Yes.
So then when you're cleaning up, you basically find the button, reach back, find the button, get the water coming at the speed you want, because you open that thing up too much, it might it'll definitely upset the cutter if you hit it too hard.
Yeah.
And then once you get it right where you want it to be, you just give yourself a little circular motion to make sure you're getting it all the way on all sides of the cutter. Perfect. And then fucking turn it off, and you're a dab away from being done.
Absolutely perfect.
You don't have to wipe. You just dab. See the difference is?
I got to tell you, when we started the show and then I asked Marty to join, we started talking. Marty, I didn't ever think in my lifetime that using the bidet and how to clean the asshole and how to clean your ass was going to be one of our conversation pillars, Marty.
But if this isn't conversation for men, I don't know what is.
Well, it's hard to argue with his statement, Marty. Because we do have those challenges as men. Just like men, we have challenges when we have like gray pants on or white pants. You guys know where I'm going. And you go for and you got the old pecker tracks. And you walk out of the restroom and you're like, oh, they all can see that
God damn it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's right. God damn it.
Right. So I'm just throwing the conversations out there that we all don't want to have. You're like, oh, fuck. So then what's the hack? You wash your hands and you wipe your hands around your pants to pretend that you have a little bit of wetness around your pants because you wash your pants even though you just pissed yourself?
The better way to that one is when you walk out, the first person that you see looks at your dick. You say, God, you say, I didn't shake it enough. You're right.
Exactly. Yes.
Because then they're going to realize that they looked at your dick and they're going to feel dumb that you actually had to tell them what you had to tell them.
Johnny, we're teaching the youngster a few things this morning, as you'd call him, the youngster. Marty, you taking it all in, brother?
But here's the hack on the bidet. Here's the hack on the bidet to all is there are more hairy asses than non-hairy asses.
Yeah, it's true.
Right?
Yes.
So think about that. If you had a really hairy arm and somehow you had a dog turd wiped on that arm, when there's hair on there, you're not just going to take a piece of paper and wipe off your forearm and think you're done. No, you're going to get some water on there. You're going to wash it. You're going to make sure all that hair is properly rinsed and cleaned. Well, that is the bidet in a nutshell.
Hey, morning conversations for men. Guys, I'm telling you, you guys don't know what you're going to learn in the first 50 minutes of our show. And today we've learned about the best way to clean the cutter. Marty?
Thanks, guys.
See, when the show is developing its own language, you know that we're doing something special.
I got a good segue today, guys, about this, actually. Did you know that we often don't wash our towels enough? There's something for you guys. Guys, you got to be washing your towels a little more often. I was reading a good study here this morning.
Which towels are we talking about?
Well, the towels.
Many types of towels.
Fuck Anderson.
Well, I mean, let's be honest here, you know?
You're right. The towels in the bathroom, the towels in the kitchen, the towels that we wash our hands with, we wipe.
Okay, wash your hand, the one you're cleaning off your hand. I got you.
Yeah, okay. So, there's we as humans apparently do not wash our towels enough. And there's some studies coming out that the amount of microbiomes and bacteria and crap that's out in our towels. Men, I'm telling you, proper towel hygiene reduces risk of skin infections. Men's typically oilier skin may lead to faster towel contamination. And listen, facial hair can introduce more bacteria to face towels, guys. So you might want to wash your towels a little more often than you think. I gotta wonder, Marty, as the solo guy on the show, how often are you washing your towels, Mr. Christopher Martin?
I don't know how often I wash them, but I switch them every week.
Yes.
Like I switch them. So I just.
When I was a bachelor, like Marty, living with myself, I didn't have fucking hand towels in the bathroom. Fuck. You know?
Well, I use my bath towel to dry my hands.
Yeah, you go in there and do your business. You're going to have to find a way to dry your own hands off. That's what it was when you came to my place.
Oh, no. I got the bath towel in there, and I got paper towels for the guests.
Oh,
if they don't want to put their hands up, man, you never know.
Towels. As a man, I love paper towels. I think they're the greatest invention ever. They can clean everything up, man. Paper towels are the best, frankly.
They are. They're great.
They absolutely are. Yeah, you clean up, buy them, you clean them up, you do what you ever do, and throw them in the garbage, and next, off you go. Yeah? So, men, clean your towels, man. Just get your towels cleaned, and Amy Reinhardt comes in and says every towel is a fresh towel. There's something to be said for that, actually. It's like fresh underwear, right? So I guess you wipe your hands once, we'll get a new towel. That's also more work.
You could do that too.
Also more work for us men, though, too.
I'm not switching my towel every day.
If I was the wealthiest trillionaire in the world, I would never wear anything twice. I would wear new underwear, new shirts. I'd never wash. Like if you're a fucking trillionaire, why do you have laundry? Why don't you just buy new clothes?
So what would you do with the old clothes?
I'd give them to the guy over down the road there.
Okay. See, I like the shit once it's actually been washed a few times. It feels better on my skin. For that too. Yeah. Well, so it's funny. We talk sports on the show every now and then. Brad Marchand, big Boston. What's up, Amy from Boston? One of the Boston Bruins legends. He's teased because he wears these old gloves. Like he can wear brand new hockey gloves every single game if he wants, but he wears these rotten old leathery gloves, Johnny. Because your point, there's something comforting about something old and you've worn a long time, right? It's like equipment. Right? It's like, I like that. It's like a baseball glove. Hey, Marty. It's like, I like this worn-in leather glove. It feels good on my hand, right? So wash your towels, guys. Johnny, what are you thinking about? I'm just thinking about the glove and shoes, and I've just kind of realized that I've gotten this place. I was just having this conversation with Ben.
Oh yeah,
he's like, dude, put some shoes on. Because we're filming a different outfit. I'm like, I don't fucking wear shoes anymore. I only wear shoes if I go to the fucking gym. And most times I go to the gym in my house, which means I don't put the fucking shoes on. I only put my shoes on if I'm leaving the house to go to the gym. So I was just thinking to myself, those old comfy pair of shoes I wear shoes so little, they're not even comfy anymore.
Hey, here's a soundbite for Nation. Johnny here, Jimmy. Here's a soundbite for us, Johnny. When you're training in the gym and doing squats and doing deadlifts and doing leg work, shoes or flat feet, or preference?
Bare flat feet.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. When you squat and deadlift, with no shoes on, you've kind of entered into a new club, if you will. Want to be a part of the club? Load up that heavy weight with nothing on your feet. It's trip. It's you walking out 500 pounds barefoot. It feels a little different. They're a good pair of supportive Chuck Taylors or so whatever you used to squat in.
You know what, Johnny? There's a few years back that Adidas or whatever the brand was making these Vibrams, these shoes that were like their gloves, like those finger shoes. I used to lift in those all the time. They're hard. I don't think they make them anymore. I don't think a lot of people bought them, just like nerds like me. But Johnny, I did all my heavy lifts with those shoes, man. I love them because they were bare feet, but I felt so stable. I was flat foot. I don't know. I was able to feel the push through my feet. I thoroughly loved lifting, like very much in like a barefoot kind of experience, actually.
And then take the next step to the true barefoot.
Yeah, I should actually. I got the ability to do that. I'm going to give that a shot, actually. Yeah. Excellent.
The only bitch about wearing no shoes is it's easy to fucking ding your toes when you're moving around in the weight room. I can't tell how many times I've stubbed my big toe on the bottom of my dumbbell rack.
Oh man,
accidentally. God damn it.
Yeah, no shit. All right. Well, listen, let's guys, you know, 3 strikes are out. Well, Justin was supposed to be here a couple weeks ago. We had a little bit of mix up. Justin was going to be here last week. Don't know what happened. So I said to Jimmy today, hey, is Justin going to be here today? He's here. He's in the group.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, hey, it's a men's show. We like to tease our brothers. We got Justin Roethlisberger joining us in a minute. We got the accountability check-in. Marty, go for a break. Johnny, go for a break. We're back with it in a minute here with Justin. But first of all, guys, we got the accountability check-in. And it is all about making habits to reflect priorities. Listen, your life, here's something to think about, guys. Your life's a reflection of your mornings. Yes, it is. Is it sloppy? Is it rushed? Is it disorganized? Because it shows up everywhere. If your morning's a mess, the rest of your day is a mess. Hell, the rest of your life is going to be a mess. Mornings, listen, they're not just for waking up, you guys. No, they're about showing up. Yeah. You want a better life? It starts with your morning. I'd even argue it starts even later. It starts the night before. We're going to talk sleep with Justin coming up in a few moments because that better morning starts the night before. And here's how to win your morning. You got to move your body. And it's not just exercise, it's activation. Activate your brain, activate your life. Reflect on yesterday. Think about what happened yesterday. Your wins, your losses, your lessons. Own them all. Own every single thing you've done. Plan your day. Night before, plan your day now. One priority at a time, not 10, one. Get one done, you've won the day. You fail at 2, you've lost. Get one done. That's the formula. It's simple, it's powerful, repeatable. Most importantly, it's boring. Oh yeah, baby, it's boring. Get into the loop, get into the circuit. Because when you think about it, how you do your morning is how you're going to do everything. Your morning happens every single day. You can't run from it. So as you start your day, ask yourself, how you starting your morning? Because how you start your morning is how you start your day. And how you start your day is how you start the rest of your week, and how you start the rest of your month, and how you start the rest of your year. So guys, get up. Get your ass out of bed. Don't hit the snooze button. You do it, you're going to be 9 minutes behind. Let's get after it this morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. All right, Jimmy, let's go. Let's keep it rock and roll, my friend. We got, let's bring in our friend Justin. Justin. What's going on, buddy?
My man, how are you? First off, I got to apologize because I was just playing off foul tips for a while. So I'm glad we were. I'm glad we didn't take the 3rd strike you're out deal.
There we go, pal. So listen, just a quick little setup. Justin Roethlisberger has joined me live in the lab with Keith and Friends. Live in the lab with Keith Bilous. Last year we hung out. We spent some time together. Justin comes from the world of professional sports. He's all about sleep. He's a high performance coach. We're going to spend some time getting to know Justin here today. Justin, welcome to the lab. Right there in the middle is Seamarty Fit, a.k.a. Christopher Martin. Over there is John Anderson. He's lifted a few heavy things in his life. And boys, this is Justin. He's joining us. Justin, where are you joining us from today, brother? Columbus?
Miami, Florida, my man.
Yeah, Florida. There you go. How's things?
Things are awesome. Super blessed. And it's not a bad day on January 13th when it's going to be 80 degrees and sunny today.
There you go. That's it.
I'm jealous.
Yeah.
I'm stepping in snow and ice.
Oh, man, I'll tell you. So listen, guys, our guest today is someone who's cracked the code on human performance and optimization. As a 13-year-old growing up in Edmonton, Alberta, I'm sorry that he had to grow up in Edmonton, Alberta, the Manitoba boy over here, Justin's dream of playing in the NHL sparked an obsession with understanding what really separates the good from the great. He discovered early on that it wasn't just talent, it was recovery and consistency. It's what we talk about on the show. Now, you fast forward to today, Justin's journey has taken him from a challenging the status quo in his masterate and doctor's classes, guys, to becoming the youngest performance coach in the NHL and a Marty, and a best-selling author.
No, I'm playing.
His groundbreaking work.
Well, hold on, Justin. We have an ongoing joke on the show where everybody that has a book, they're the best seller. So that was the joke. That's
so funny. I love
we're
it.
We're just messing with you. Yeah.
So here's the funny thing. I am with you guys 100%. Every time you hear bestseller, it's like Amazon bestseller. Also, what happened was you waited, and you had everybody buy. You just put you put all 102 orders in on between 6:35 and 7 p.m. on the day you wanted to release it.
That's funny, man. So Justin, guys, he's helped people tackle everything from psoriasis to insomnia, heart disease, high blood pressure, proving that health and performance aren't just buzzwords; they're attainable goals when approached the right way. If you're passionate about health, fitness, sleep, performance, longevity, and biohacking, you're in for a treat today with our friend, Justin Roethlisberger. I always struggle, Chauffeur, who's joining us from Miami, Florida here today. And Justin, how we like to start the show off with every guest we have is one great singular question. Brother, what is your morning routine?
So to be honest with you, and this is not an excuse, this is also why this showtime in the morning that I was at was so freaking difficult for me.
Yeah.
But wake up around 5:45.
Yeah.
Spend the first 25 minutes with the Lord and open up the Bible, get into it, and just get my morning bread. And from there, head out to, we've got a beautiful little gym performance center in our backyard. So get about an hour 15 training session in. From there, I'll pop into the sauna, cold plunge, and then finish with about 15 minutes of breath work and pop inside. And by that time, I've just got such laser clarity as to what I'm diving into. Because the night before, when I wind down my work day, I've got a little whiteboard wall literally right up here. Got my big 5 for the next day. So that's what I start on. And usually by 8:30, 9 o'clock, I'm jamming on what my next thing is.
That's awesome. I love how you start your day with faith. And Marty, it's coming up so consistently, right? We talk on the show with men joining the show, and what I'm enjoying about it, Justin, is that humans are all about judging books by their covers. We all just judge, right? Yet you sit down and you're like, yeah. And I'm not sitting here suggesting I'm judging you by any stretch. The fact, though, that you're like, yeah, I start my day with this. I don't preach it and push it down people's throats. This is the way that I center myself, isn't it? And that's really what your journey, like that's where you find your space to start yourself as a human being, isn't it, Justin?
It is. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all spiritual beings.
Yes.
And I think the truth that we find in that book is something that just penetrates our soul. Our body knows the truth. The cells that we're made up of, 30 trillion of them that synergistically work together. We're all created to basically understand the truth. You know, people have this gut feel, right? They say it often when they hear something or they read something and they're like, there's a little bit of male bovine excrements in that. And we may have some opportunity to do something different. But when you get into that book in the morning, I tell you what, there's just truth in it. And no matter what it is that I'm reading, no matter what passage I'm in, no matter what scripture I'm delving into, there's always something that's applicable to my life that gives me revelation for the day, gives me hope, gives me courage to basically do what it is that's necessary to step up and ultimately realize a great day.
I love how we all have our things. Like Johnny gets in and starts his day. He counts his morning in. Justin, he sits down in his chair and he counts his morning in. He uses mental breath work and mind work to count the start of his morning in. I know Marty, reflects on the Bible and reads his passages. But Justin and Marty, I got a very curious question actually. when you open up, Justin, you called it that book. When you open up that book,
Yeah.
how do you guys decide what you're reading? Like, is it you just randomly pick a passage? Is there a passage that you're motivated by? Is something happened in your life? Like, I'm legitimately curious. Like, there's a few words in that book. There's a couple of them. So, which ones are you deciding you're going to go read that morning?
Marty, you jam first, then I'll pick up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Usually I just go in order. I start from the beginning and I go to the end and I start over. But I have certain books that stand out to me. So like Job. That's a big one. Probably the book David.
Why does Job, real quick, Marty? Why does Job stand out?
Yeah.
Because of his faith. He lost everything, and when you get in a situation where you can lose everything, it's easy to go negative. It's easy to go dark. It's easy to just turn.
I'm telling you, that was a loaded question. Yeah. That was a loaded question, brother, because I was going to say one of the things that I focus on with myself is that there's the process of me winning includes losing. And I embrace every time I do something and I'm like, fuck, you can call it a loss, call it a failure, call it what you will. It's part of the process. So I embrace, even in investing, I've made plenty of investments with money that weren't good ones, but those losses allowed me to 10x my profits because I learned something.
Yeah.
That's real.
Justin.
So you got to, when you're thinking about faith, you got to have faith that your fucking plan is there with the wins and the losses, and you got to fucking go straight through that shit and don't be a little bitch about the difficult shit.
Yeah. I want to add one thing too about that book. Even Job's friends were like, "You still believe in God? Like, you're still praying, bro?" So it just, that book is amazing. So that's so I have my highlights, and I pretty much go to them when I feel like I need it the most.
Yeah. What about you, Justin? How do you decide?
Yeah, so it's great. I've got a couple devotionals that I follow, that I go through. So again, not something I really have to think about, but they're 100% are days, and I would say probably 50% of the days where I'll read the devotional, but there's just a season in my life I'm going through. It might be similar to what Marty was talking about, and it could be that, hey, you've taken some losses and things are going, like you're struggling a little bit, or it's that you are coming up against an obstacle that just feels so big. It feels like a giant in your life. And some days you just need some Samson in your life. Like you just need to feel like big and like strong.
Yes.
So there's moments where just circumstantially, like what is going on in your life? Like I'm going to dive in to some of these stories. I'm going to dive into some of these passages that have been created for exactly like a time like this. The thing that I'm going up against that's going to show me the truth. It's going to show me exactly who I am, who created me, and the power that I have inside of myself to allow me to just step up powerfully in this day. So like I said, I follow devotionals so that I don't really have to think about where I'm going, and it just becomes routine. But at the same time, there's seasonality in my life that is going to take me to one area that's just going to speak life into me. And I think there's something that's so heavily overlooked in our society.
Yeah.
About when you get, every single one of you here, I guarantee you, has the ability to speak life into other people. Like you do it all the time. You call somebody out and you call somebody up because you can see, I call it seeing Christ in them. Like what is it that God put inside you that I see in you that is amazing, that is powerful, that I'm going to call out in you. And when I call it out in you, because you know it to be true, but you just haven't leaned into it lately, it ignites a fire in you that motivates you, that inspires you, that completely changes your mindset to be able to go do things that you didn't think even possible that day. And I think a lot of us who inspire, speak out, call up other people have a hard time sometimes doing it for ourselves. And that's why I start my morning that way, because when I'm hearing from the guy who created me, I'm hearing stories of people that I see myself in seasons that they're in, it becomes incredible. Because even though I'm not in a physical prison, like you might be reading, I might be in a prison in my mind that morning. Or even though I don't have a completely disarrayed body, I might feel that a part of my heart is broken.
Yes.
It might not be that I'm sitting in this space where I'm really, I've got some type of terrible disease, or I'm being ostracized and evicted from my city, I might feel that in my business, I'm being ostracized through my ads and I can't even get anywhere that I need to be. And so these are the things that I can all of a sudden take the feelings and emotions that those people were experiencing at that time, at that moment, in that place in history, and then be able to realize the truth on the other side, that we were meant for abundance. We were built for great things. We were able to do more seemingly things in a powerful way than we could have ever experienced. But sometimes I just need that little kick in my morning to be able to say, hey, remember who you are. Remember who created you. Remember the power that you have, and step into that today and own that.
Oh, man. Hey, you're hanging out with Keith, Justin, Marty, John Anderson here, Mornings Live with Keith and friends. Hey, Justin, so I know we had you scheduled in for about 13 minutes here. We're going to get to the Seamarty Fit tip. Can you hang around for the next segment, another 12 minutes, or do you got to rock and roll, brother?
No, I'm good.
Awesome.
I'm here now. I might as well.
It's like you're in the gym. You might as well continue your lift, eh, Justin?
That's right.
Yeah, this is awesome, guys, because I got to tell you, I never expected anybody tuning in right now would not realize the last 15 minutes we've been talking about the Bible and talking about God. And I love it because I was raised in a world where, and I'm thinking Johnny a little bit too, where it was somewhat chastised. And it was like, oh, you're talking that stuff. Oh, these Bible thumpers, these Christians. Yet the last 12 minutes have been nothing but positive conversation to help guys start their day. And because we're talking about the book, I'm loving it. And we got some comments from the nation here. We got Rick Kletke coming in. Justin, this is for you, brother. I love Justin Roethlisberger's name because he has more vowels than mine, and his tag "Own It" is so rare today. We're going to come back and talk about "Own It" in a couple of moments. And Rick also says, I may be in a prison in my own mind. Truth bomb. Yes, that's a solid one from Justin that he dropped here in a moment. But listen, let's do this. We got the Marty Fit tip coming up here. He's going to drop some fitness advice for you guys to get your day on the roll. And then we're going to come back. We want to talk to Justin about Own It, what that means to Justin, as well as the power of sleep. Marty, let's get after it, brother.
Let's get it, man. All right, today's fit tip is super simple. All right, I was talking to one of my clients, so this is kind of what inspired it. And I asked my client, I said, what inspired you to get fit, right? And a lot of people, unfortunately, this isn't everybody, but I think most people, it's something negative that happened to them that sparked them to go on their fitness journey, right? And so instead of being mad at the situation or mad at whoever triggered you to get you started on your fitness journey, you should embrace it. You should be thankful that happened, right? You should be thankful that you had that event happen and you were able to turn a new leaf, start a new lifestyle, and get better and work on your longevity, right? So don't sit there and have hate in your heart for that person or that situation, right? Truly embrace it, because sometimes in life we just need a kick in the ass or we need a wake-up call. It could have been a doctor's visit and the doctor told you need to get it together, and that's what sparked your fitness journey. You shouldn't have waited that long, but you should be happy that doctor told you that. It might be a boyfriend or girlfriend, that told you about yourself, told you maybe you falling off or you slacking, and maybe the relationship didn't work out. Maybe they went and got a fitter partner, whatever the situation is. But embrace it, be thankful it happened, and guess what? There's always the grass is always greener on the other side, and something better is coming. So whatever that situation is that sparked your fitness journey, be happy about it, be thankful for it. That's the fitness tip for today.
Christopher Martin, a.k.a. Seamarty Fit, always dropping gold for you guys to get your day going here. We're hanging out with Justin Roethlisberger joining us this morning from
Try that again, buddy. Try it again.
Marty, you try it.
No, but you can't. No, you can't mess up in the middle and then continue. You got to start over.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to look at the name and I'm going to try it again here. It is Justin Roethlisberger. Am I doing it okay, Justin?
Nailed it.
There you go. That was better.
Don't feel bad, guys. Like, here's the funny thing. I was always told that I was the smartest kid in kindergarten because I literally knew the alphabet.
You had no choice.
And then it just went downhill from there. So just like it's okay.
Oh man. Hey, so let's get this chat going here, Justin. So listen, I want to, before we get into Own It, I want to go back to what we talked about before the fit tip, Justin. Were you always a man of faith? Was that always the center of your universe, or Justin, did you have to go through a journey where you discovered the Bible, you discovered the book to help you bring you back to center, to help you then achieve the next stage in your life. Because Justin, there's guys that we hang out with in the mornings that are like, they're lost, they're unfocused, and they don't know where to find center. Justin, tell us about your story with the book.
Yeah, so there's even again in the Bible, there's a story about the prodigal son who went away from his faith, and all of a sudden when he came back, the father was there, literally massive celebration, arms open, crowning him. It was amazing. It's an incredible story, and it's kind of like my journey, to be honest with you. I think we all have journeys in times like this where we think we can do it ourselves. We think we know better. We think we have the wisdom. And so I grew up in a faith home, amazing parents that loved me, parents that prayed over me before I was even born. And I would say ages 19 to about 30, 19 to 29. It was, I had foxhole prayers, right? Like, oh God, I need to get out of this. Like, deliver me. But in that same time, I was doing my own things. It says in Judges, when you have no king, the man will do what he feels is right. And oftentimes what we do is we just make decisions that we think are right. We don't pray on them. We don't sit on them. We don't have a guiding light. And we often find ourselves in some dark corners. And so that was really my story, is this, finding it, walking away from it, and all of a sudden coming back to it. And I think this is a really cool time in history, to be honest with you. I think in 20, 30, 40, 50 years, we'll look back at these last 6 years, where faith really became cool again. Yeah. And it became something that is something that's powerful to talk about. Because for me, and I don't know if anybody else will relate to this, and this will kind of segue us into next piece, I think pretty interestingly, is every person of faith around me that I saw not living a life that was really sound. Mm-hmm. I saw living a life that wasn't really kind. I saw a life that wasn't really abundant financially. I saw a life that wasn't really fit. I saw a life that wasn't really what a leader I thought should be. And at my core, I was like, if that's faith, I don't want it. And it wasn't until I started to really see leaders and people who I was like, I admire them. I admire what they're doing. My gosh, I love what's happening here. I didn't realize that a relationship with Jesus could actually look like this. I didn't realize that freedom to have salvation and to live a life that was in alignment could actually be this cool. And now as a part of like a root of where we're going, that's just the example that I like to be, that I like to live, that I put forward, so that all of a sudden we can really lean in and live the life that we were meant to live, while also then inspiring others.
And brother, let me just jump in right there. Because a lot of people, as we talk about, a lot of people hear the word God, they hear the Bible, they get all fucking freaked out. Yeah, let's call those words whatever you want to call it. Your own title is fine, but what we're talking about here is it's like living a higher consciousness, a higher level of clarity. Yes. And what people don't understand is when you have that faith, and it can be faith in the fact that you're just supposed to charge through today and deal with whatever's coming at you. When you have faith in everything you're doing, you see more clearly. When you have faith in everything you're doing, you vibrate higher. And I know people get freaked out about that word too, but really what it comes down to is you boil the whole thing down, you strip it away. It's how do you move through your life in a way that puts you at this place where you don't want to stop. It's like it feels so good. You're vibrating high, your clarity. You don't want to do something that's going to pull you away from that. And it's much easier to stay there when you actually have that faith and you get to that spot.
It's the unfair advantage. That's what I call it.
Yeah. For sure.
Well, and Justin, I would think, I'm glad you said the unfair advantage, because I watch your content ever since we met, and I observe, the content you put on your feeds. I enjoy the content you put out there. And what I really enjoy about what you put out there, Justin, and I love what you have stood on. And I got to be honest, since our last chat, I don't think I really realized the foundation you stand on. And I love it. I love the foundation you stand on, because it tells me why you stand behind these 2 words, own it. And I love that, because what you're really saying to your customers or to people listening is that mirror in front of you, you have to own it. Because if you don't own it, nobody else is going to. So Justin, talk a little bit about your belief in owning it. And when you go speak in front of audiences or in front of professional sports teams, and when you see guys, the light goes on around the idea of owning it, Justin.
Yeah, I think oftentimes being able to give a reason as to why something's happening in our life is so much easier.
Yes.
As to say, like, why we're financially not winning, why in our business we're not winning, why in our marriages we're not winning, in fatherhood and motherhood, in health, why are we not winning in those areas? I think it's very easy to start to pick up, it's these 5 things, that's why.
Right.
When the reality of the whole concept is the fact that we have to flip that mirror around and say, okay, who do I have to become in order to get to where I'm trying to go? Because something I've realized, gosh, probably 5-6 years ago, was everybody's like, the book Who Not How.
Yes.
I haven't read that one.
Yeah.
So Dan Sullivan talks about it's more of a business book, but Who Not How is like, who do you need in your business in order to do the job, rather than you trying to figure out how to do it yourself?
Yeah.
I have a flip on that, because a lot of people think, okay, how do I get fit? How do I change my relationship? And they're looking for a tactic. They're looking for a quick fix. We've become addicted to quick fixes.
Yes.
We become addicted to the fast thing. I'm here and I want to get here. And it's not a how, it's not a tactic that's going to move you like this. It's a who. And it's, who do you have to become? Who do you have to become to get from here to here? Who do you have to be shaped into to get from here to here? Who do you have to be molded to be to get from here to here? What fire do you have to walk through in order to be changed so that you can ultimately live differently? I talk about this all the time. In order to get something different, you have to do something different. In order to get something different, you have to become somebody different. And that word different to me is equivalent to something holy. It's separated, it's set apart. It's different than where you first were. And I think we sit in this and not willing to change who we are or where we're at, but yet we want the circumstances to change. And so until you're willing to own that, until you're willing to sit in that, until you're willing to be uncomfortable and okay that you're not perfect, you're in a journey, you're on a journey, you're perfecting this ability to understand yourself, that's when things start to change. And it's not just change slightly, they change radically. And that's, I think, the cool part. I look back at who I was 5 years ago, and this guy's radically changed, like a radical change in who I am. And the funny thing is there's a lot of people that knew me 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago that got separated from my life. And even to this day, they still don't know who I am. And so if you don't know the 2025 version of Justin, you really don't know Justin, and that's okay. But you're just not going to be close to me in that inner circle, because I've been willing to take ownership. You're still living in this how state, and you're just not a close part of my life. And that is okay.
Dude, you're dropping nuggets, man. Holy smokers. And Rick Kletzky's coming in saying, I'm looking for the love button, but I can only like it. I'm with you here, man, because you're just dropping nuggets. Like, you're dropping nothing but truth. Man, it's just truth. Johnny, I see you nodding there too and leaning in, and while you sip your water there. Justin, you said something too, and I talk about this with my wife all the time. Like, I get up every single day committed to this us, like the two of us. Yeah. And the other half, Justin, has to be equally committed.
Oh yeah.
Because if the other half isn't, there's no us.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But it's really what you're speaking to as well. It's not a how. It's a who, and it starts in your own mirror. I love that, because we're all, especially on January 13th, when a lot of people are starting to consider quitting their New Year's resolutions.
Well, you know that last Friday, which was January 9th or whatever the date was.
10th.
January
10th was the day everybody started quitting. Yeah, that's
National Quitters Day.
Yes.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
So here's a good reason to own it. Look in your mirror. And as Rick said, eliminate the victim mentality. It's not the Reese's peanut butter's fault that you haven't eaten it. It's not Justin's fault. It's your own mirror that you're not succeeding at, Justin.
I'm going to tell you guys a story, and this just happened. So I might get emotional because it's a revelation for me.
Emotions allowed here. So no, absolutely.
So on last about 8 years ago, I had this. Everything in my life was about performance. Like that's how I saw my worth. That's how I found my worth. And I think a lot of men relate to that. Is like what I do is what I'm worth. How I perform is how good I am. And that was just something I abided by, something I lived by.
And even in the bedroom, Justin, I'm being serious here. Us men, we're always, and again, we talk about the topics on the show, which is we judge ourselves by the performance and we beat ourselves up. And it's a mindset that can kill you, can't it, Justin? This performance mindset. Hey, Justin?
You sit in this, and it's funny. You think the more I perform, the better I do. The happier I'll become. But it actually has an inverse effect because you start to have this subconscious belief that I'm not good enough. I'm not far enough along. I can't be loved, et cetera, et cetera. And so in this time of my life, I was in Miami of Ohio with I was the director of performance for their men's hockey program. And again, just had this deep feeling. And so I said, I'm going to go out and I'm going to run 100 miles around a track. And that's going to show like, wow, look how good Justin is. Like, amazing. Like, this guy just went and did this, like the mindset of this guy.
Yeah.
And I ran. I'm deep into this thing. And I hear just this voice say, your win is not finishing. And walked off. And I sat with this, not embarrassed, didn't want to tell anybody about it. And about 4 months ago, I had that same voice say, I want you to redeem the 100 miles. And so Friday being National Quitters Day. On Saturday, I had set this up where I was going to run 100 miles, but it wasn't going to be for me. I was going to run 400 laps of a track. On every lap, it was going to be a prayer for somebody else. And so I was going to run 400 laps for 400 prayers. And every time that I was like, I'm sore, I'm tired, I can't make it, it was like, no, somebody's waiting for that next prayer. So get this, I was in Nashville Wednesday, Thursday with a couple of my recording artists, and that storm came in, and I got stranded in Atlanta for 36 hours. And I didn't get back to Miami until 11 a.m. Or noon on Saturday. So I missed the start time. Had every reason to quit, had every reason not to start, had every reason to postpone, had every reason to do all these things. But I got a text from a guy, and he said, what if we all started to run for Justin and with Justin, and we started to post it, and it wasn't on one man's shoulder, but it was rather collectively being able to do the same thing.
Wow.
So at 4 p.m. we started. I had given 6 a.m. to 6 a.m. So we were going to start 6 a.m. Saturday morning, finish 6 a.m. Sunday morning. And so we started at 4 p.m. and we went to 7 a.m. And I ended up running 50 miles over the course of that time. But everybody else started to pick up themselves as well. And we ran a total of 178.5 miles over the course of that time. We had people who had never run more than 5 miles complete a marathon. We had people who had never run more than 10 miles complete a 50K. We had people who showed up originally to just do this with me on a bicycle and ended up running 17 and a half miles. It goes to show you that when you all of a sudden listen and lean in and are obedient and walk that path and can take ownership of who you are and do it in collectively with people around you, you can accomplish more and abundantly more, significantly more than anything that you could do on your own. And that is literally in its core and its essence what Own It stands for. What is it all about? The community that we're building. And yes, do we get into hyper personalization and proactive care through testing and data-driven analysis and hyper personalization and deep level accountability? Yes, we do. We integrate this sexy longevity industry with faith and development, because at the end of the day, when you can truly create a mindset shift, when you can create a change and have data to validate where you're going, there is no way, it's inevitable that you don't realize that version of you that you've been trying to get to, because you now have a clear direction of where you're going, but you also have a mindset shift that allows it to be sustainable and long lasting.
Wow.
Brother, I got to jump in real quick. I got to jump in. As you're telling that story, man, I can literally feel my shit elevating.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
I can feel my, so I always get myself in a great space where I look at my day and I'm excited about all the shit. I'm excited about my work.
Yeah.
I'm excited about adjusting some advertisements. I'm excited about, well, you just took that level of excitement, which I thought was maybe at a 9, probably was more like a 7.5. And you just brought that up for me. So I didn't know that I had that much more to go, but brother, thank you. That was fucking good shit. You just put an extra spring in my step today.
Johnny, I'm the same way, because I'm like, okay, can we get the show done with? Because I gotta go fucking mountains I gotta climb right now. I got a bunch of shit I gotta go accomplish today, because Justin's just jacked me right up here with the last few minutes of his chat. Hey, you're hanging out with Keith, Marty, John, and Justin Roethlisberger, Marty.
Oh man.
We got Jory Jansen joining us here in a minute. Before we do that, though, we're gonna get to the John Anderson lifestyle tip. Justin, we got to rock and roll, brother. How can everybody find you, connect with you, work with you, and lastly, will you come back and hang out with us again?
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. I promise it won't take me 3 tries next time.
Where can folks connect with Justin with a lot of confidence in his last name?
Yeah, so you can go to ownitcoaching.com. That's where you can find everything about Own It, what we do, community we're building, just how we can help you and serve you. And then on Instagram at Justin Roth. I think it's down there in my tag. Right there is where I'm at. I'm heavily engaged there, so that's a great place to connect and have a great conversation. We can hopefully serve you in your journey and your mission.
Awesome, Justin. Thanks for hanging out with us today, my friend.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me, guys.
You, Justin.
Yeah. Awesome.
Have a great day, brother.
Awesome. And Justin, tell your buddies, subscribe to the channel. We wake up every single day like yourself to help men around the world achieve big, audacious goals. Justin with the only morning show on the planet right here on Mornings in Alive with Keith and friends. So, all right, Justin's out. Marty's going for a break. Johnny's got the fit tip. And then we got Jory Jansen joining us. We're talking sugar, guys. Rick, we're talking sugar. Amy, we're talking sugar. The stuff that's hiding in our food. It's killing us. Johnny, get after it, brother.
There's too many people out there quitting, all because something didn't go just as planned. Nothing goes as planned. It's okay. Whatever reason you quit is not a big enough reason to quit. So number one, you got to forgive yourself when you make mistakes. We all make mistakes. Number two, what you really need to be focused on is the fact that you're going to show up again. Maybe you're going to show up and you're not going to do things as well as you could have if you were having a better day, but you showed up. So what you got to realize is let shit roll off your back and just show up, because whatever reason or whatever thing happened that actually had you quit is not big enough to get in your way to stop you from getting what you want. So number one, forgive yourself. Number two, show up. And these two simple elements of life will completely change the trajectory of where you're going. What do we want? We want to get what we want. That's right. Well, these two tips will put you on the path. Let's go. Rock and roll.
Let's get after it, guys. Show up. Get going. Get going. Roll over. Don't hit the snooze. What's going on, Jory Jansen?
Hey, I'm ready to go for a Monday.
Are you moving a little slow here on the Monday loop here, Jor? Because I know daughter was out of town, so did you have some time to get some sleep and reflect, or?
I took some naps. I did some housework, and I just kept thinking about her, though.
Oh, there you go.
It'll be fine.
So Lauren and the gang headed off to Mexico on Saturday. So old Uncle Keith here is by himself here, just me and the dogs, and it's pretty quiet around here. So we're just we're figuring it out. I was eager to talk today. I haven't talked there a couple days, so it was good. So Jory, we're here to talk sugar today.
Yeah.
You know, the one thing that we all can't get enough of, joke, but all can we all just probably we all eat too much of it. And I thought we could talk a little bit today about the hidden sugars.
Sure.
So when we're looking at the ingredients packages, we look for the keyword, which is sugar, SUGAR. Yet there's so many other sugars in our foods that we maybe don't know about. Sugar alcohols and different types of sugars. Let's talk about sugar today, Jor. Where do you want to start with it?
Yeah, so just added sugars are just any time when we're finding foods and it's not a natural sugar state. So if you're eating a banana, I wouldn't freak out, right? But it's looking at things that end in ose, glucose, sucrose,
Yes.
right? Those are going to be sugars, added sugars. I would start with, first of all, looking at your nutrition facts tables and the ingredient list and taking a look at total sugars, and oftentimes it'll have their added sugars, and those are going to be the things that we want to reduce. I mean, looking at things like your yogurt and your granola, those are great things to have in your nutrition plan. If you like those things, they're great ways to get nutrients. But there are going to be better options within there.
I knew you were going to say the but, because the but canceled everything in before that. But I know you like granola, Keith, but
Keith got happy too.
Say, you can like granola and make
and.
a decision around that, right?
Right.
So it's maybe it's not a but, it's an and you can decide maybe you don't need half a cup of granola. It could be a sprinkle of granola and adding some cinnamon to help with blood sugars and adding some nuts and seeds to make it more heart healthy and filling. So that's why people actually add granola a lot of times, because they need something more than just the yogurt, for example.
Right.
So it's definitely not a cut out 100% unless you feel like that's a need for you. But it's more of how can we limit the added sugars and still enjoy the food that we're consuming? And as with anything, it's not cold turkey. For some people, that's how you're wired.
Yep.
If that's how you're wired, go for it. For those of you who are a little bit more like me, it's more of how can we not cut, but maybe add to something. So as we're adjusting along the way, it becomes more of our lifestyle rather than a crash. So it just depends on how you're wired and how much added sugars you currently have in your meal plan.
Johnny, what's your POV?
Yeah, I mean, I love everything Jordan said. Really good shit. But of course, I'm gonna go down to the basics. The first, what I consider to be the first step, because sugars are hidden to people most when they don't do one simple thing. Let's read the goddamn labels. So if you start to read labels, you're going to start to gather a lot of data. What Jory said is so true, and it's like almost like the next step. It's so many people, they don't know what's in their food because they're not reading the labels. And if you start off by reading labels, you're gonna start to connect a lot of dots. And once you connect those dots, then you can go deeper into it. And it's like a world that kind of opens up. But you've got to apply yourself to a little bit of knowledge. The idea that, okay, I'm going to read my labels so I can start to acquire the knowledge. That's the first step.
Well, that's why we like to have this conversation, Johnny, because I think a lot of people don't, or they get confused by.
Well, that's what I mean. The sugars are hidden the most to the people who don't read the labels.
Yes.
And what are all the words that mean sugar?
Yes, that's what I mean, Jory.
Sugar, like sugar cane. I'm sorry, people. It's still sugar. Brown sugar. It's not the same as brown bread. It's white sugar with molasses. Molasses is also a sugar. So raw sugar, it's still sugar. Syrup. All of them, they're still sugar. Honey, great, good for the gut, but it's still sugar, right?
How about was it guava? Still a sugar though, right?
Sugar.
Yes.
Agave, still sugar.
Agave, that's agave. That's what it's. Yes.
It's still sugar. Now there are going to be some that impact your blood sugars less so.
Yes.
Especially those that already have diabetes. So there's what's called sugar alcohols. And that's
the one I wanted to get into too, because in the health food or the protein stores and we get a lot of these products that have no sugars, quote unquote. But then you look at what is it, erythritol or xylitol or the thols that are all sugars, right? Jory, talk about the thols that are sugars.
Yeah. So they're basically sugar substitutes, is what we call them.
Okay.
And most of them, in fact, I think all of them, still have a certain amount of sugar. Now, we're allowed to say zero sugar when it doesn't meet a certain threshold.
Okay.
But still, it's all on how much are you consuming, and they still can add up in terms of sugars. And again, if you're someone that already has type 2 diabetes or type 1, but
Yes.
that wasn't anybody's lifestyles or life choices. But with that, I mean, they still can add up. So if you're eating a ton of candies all day long that are filled with sugar alcohols, one, you're probably going to get a bit of bloat and perhaps
Yes.
washroom breaks.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that stuff will send you to the toilet real quick if you're
Right,
overusing it.
and
They can use a
already
bidet.
nobody likes the bloated look. So that's another thing. So sugar alcohols still can, yes, they can reduce, but the amount of sugar in your body, but they still do add up, and there's other potential impacts, or depending on how your body operates with them.
Well, Jordan, that was the one that I was really wanting to get us to, because I know there's a lot of guys that are running out there, they're running throughout their day, and they'll run to the protein shop and they'll buy the protein bar and see no sugar on it.
Uh-oh.
Exactly, right, Marty? And then you'll look, wait a minute, no, there actually is sugar in it, but I didn't know that xylitol or the olithol or the zerothol was sugar, right? And so I've gone through my journeys of teaching myself stuff, which is why I wanted to have a conversation today, because, just because it says no sugar, you got to look at the ingredients. And I'm glad you said, Jory, legally there's these requirements that what's sugar and what's not, right?
Yes.
The Food
Yeah,
and
legally. And
Administration.
it's the same thing with fats, right? So it's looking at big in the day, there were these
Yes.
fat substitutes, and
Yes.
found that they were not leaving their homes, right? So
Yes.
so it's the same thing. Like there are sugars, and they are important to include in our diet. But as John and Marty would always say, like, let's look at whole foods.
Yes.
Like an apple, a banana, your blueberries, your milk, or alternatives too, if you are preferring those all have sugars, all of them.
Last
but
one.
they're not being added to, right?
Yeah.
Or substituted with something unnatural.
Last one, let's give our guys something to choose alternatively. Would you suggest then, Jory and Johnny, stevia? Would that be an alternative you'd recommend?
It's an alternative. I don't know if it's that much better. I mean, it's from a plant, but almost everything kind of comes from somewhere. But it's still processed. It's an option to include to reduce. So if we're looking at, some people will use different methods to decrease, nicotine intake, right? It doesn't mean that there's nothing there, but it's an option to help you on your journey to reduce. I think that everything can fit your nutrition plan. It's just depending on how does your body react to it, and where are you on your journey? What's the outcome that you want?
That's exactly it. 100%, Jory. 100%. So I just want to jump on that train with you real quick. These substitutes are there to kind of assist or help you balance whatever it is you're trying to do. So if you're a person that needs to keep real sugar at bay, or to a certain level, keep it down to a certain point, then these substitutes, are going to be something that you're going to lean more on. But it's so individualized, and it's so, I guess you'd say, circumstantial to the individual. So I just want to jump on that with Jory too. It's not this simple answer of just do this in nutrition. It's never that. No, I know. I say one last question, Jory, before you rock and roll here from our very regular listener, Rick Kletke is jumping in here. Jory, what's your opinion on honey and agave? I know you touched on it briefly, but what's your opinion on honey and agave from Rick? Because Jory, Rick's planning his day on what he's eating, and he's like, okay, so depending on what Jory says, depends on whether I'm grabbing the honey or whether I'm going to the agave. So Rick, listen into what Jory's going to say next.
I want to know too.
So yeah, and everyone else, please jump in, because you'll have some really good insights as well. So I'm going to say it depends on what your outcome is. If you're looking to feed your gut some good bacteria, I'd choose the honey. Now just watch how much, because it's still going to break down into a sugar. But if you're going to pair that with some Greek yogurt, you've got some protein content, maybe sprinkle some nuts and seeds in there. A fat content, so you're going to slow down the digestion rate. So you're going to stay fuller longer. You're not going to have a spike. So if you're going to choose the agave, it might be a little less in terms of caloric intake, the spike in sugar. But again, what do you add to? I think will impact what do you need the outcome to be. So you can use either one. depending on what you want. Do you want reduced calories? Do you want to, help the gut? Like, what do you want to do there?
Yeah.
And then make sure that you're adding other good whole foods to it to increase the nutritional value, and also keeping you energized longer.
There you go, Rick. Click it. Don't go for the peanut butter and honey sandwich today. Yeah, I know. Yeah, good old.
They call that sandwich the Keith.
Yeah. On some good old cooked bread here, Jory Jansen here in Manitoba. Some good old rye bread, some peanut butter and honey sandwich there. So, Rick, I hope that answered the idea. Here we go, Jory. Rick, love the idea of mixing it with high protein, no naked carbs or sugars. Oh, Rick, look at Ricky joining, getting on.
Rick.
Baby. Look out. Come on, baby.
That's awesome.
Yeah, fill your stomach with protein, and that little bit of sugar does much less damage.
That's exactly right. All right, well, listen, Jory's here today. She's rocking it. We've kept her a little overtime today. Jory, it's another extremely cold day in Manitoba today. Are you heading out to venture out into the cold, or you got your meetings inside the old home office today?
Today they're in. This week I do have to head out, but today they are in, and I made sure that my daughter, before her volleyball, that she's got everything packed in advance, not going out to grab something. It's cold.
It is cold. Yes, John, Marty, it's minus 30 some odd degrees Celsius here, so it's freaking. It's exactly a good night. That's exactly right. All right. Well, Jory, you have yourself a great day. I appreciate you as always.
All right. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you,
and
Jory.
Enjoy and
Thank you, Jory.
just watch the sugar alcohols, everybody.
That's
you
it.
need to get out. You don't want to be running somewhere when you don't have nowhere to run. Just saying. All right. Enjoy the week.
Thanks, Jory. We'll see you later.
Thanks, Jory.
All right, Jory's out of here. Marty's got to go for Marty's got to get to the Gold's Gym.
You got to get out of here, man.
Marty, good show today, brother. Go get after it.
Great show.
A lot of fun here today. Yeah, Justin.
Tomorrow will be better.
Bombs, man. Holy smokes. Justin's
He's a beast, man. Justin's a beast.
Yeah, I
gotta have him back.
I agree. Yeah, I love how faith. I really do. Love how faith continues to weave itself back into our mornings, because I don't think we talk a lot about it. And I know when it's often talked about, Marty, people go, "Oh, you're guys talking God and poo faith stuff." No.
Yeah, no. Faith is what you title your faith what you want to title it.
I agree.
The fact is, do you have it?
I agree. I love how it's become a pillar here. So, Marty, get after it, brother.
Yes, sir. I'll see y'all, man.
Have a good loop, brother.
One. You too.
All right, Keith and Johnny are going to keep the show going here. We're going to wrap it up in a few minutes here. We are going to, we got Rick here. Y'all are kicking off 2020 with bang, man. Yes, Johnny, going to go for a quick break. We'll come back to the Creator Spotlight.
Yeah, give me a piss break, and I'm with you, baby.
All right. Johnny's going to go for a piss break, Jimmy. We're going to keep the show rocking and rolling here, and we're going to move our attention to our community corner, Creator Spotlight segment of the show here, where we take creators on all the platforms where this show is found, and we celebrate them. But before we do that, I want to address somebody who I know is listening in right now, and I want to address them with confidence and optimism and excitement, because I made some content last week where somebody called me a clown, and we had some laugh about it, and I know that somebody also commented and said that somebody called me a waste of space. And I thought to myself, oh, that's kind of a waste of skin, I think was the comment. And I think that comment might have beat up on that human psyche. And I invited the human to the lab here. I said, hey, why don't you come hang out with us? And the guy's like, I don't really have nothing to offer. I haven't built and sold a company. I'm not like John Anderson, or I'm not like Seamarty Fit. And I was like, yeah. So? Doesn't matter. You got a story to tell. You're probably a pretty exceptional human being. You're probably not a waste of space. You're probably not a waste of skin. You're probably not a clown. And I really wanted to pause to address this human, because I love the content this guy's creating. And I want to invite that human to go look in the mirror and say, brother, come hang out with us, man. Come bring your story to the lab. You have a unique story to tell that is listening to you, that might be feeling like you right now, which is, oh, if he can go tell his story, so can I. So my point is this, guys. And Rick, you're singing, hug your brothers, man. Why are we beating each other up? Like, why? And here's the language, gentlemen. So if you got the kids around, tell them to just tune out for a moment. Guys, life is fucking hard enough. Why do we gotta beat each other up? Honest to God. Like, seriously. There's no really point or place for it, actually. If you do want to go beat somebody up, honestly, I don't know. So what I would maybe offer is the alternative. Offer somebody an olive branch. Offer some encouragement. Imagine how it's going to make you feel. right? So the human who was listening last week or went out and made a sales call and the guy's like, yeah, you're a waste of skin. I think the guy who offered that comment was more like the waste of skin. I think you have lots to say. I think you have lots to offer. Come on to the lab here and hang out with us. And then the second comment was, I also saw some content, and I know Marty, if you're tuning into this in the truck right now, I know Marty lines this as well. All the haters in the gyms that are like, oh, you're not jacked. Oh, you don't look like you lift, bro. Oh, you look like you spend more time sleeping, bro. Oh, you don't look like you eat your protein, bro. Really? Again, guys, life is tough enough. If the guy's on a journey and he's going through a body recomposition or he's trying to lose weight, support the motherfucker. Don't beat him up. Like, we all have our journeys, Johnny. And Johnny, what I'm talking about now is that I was talking to some guys last week who are just.
I've been listening. I can hear, even though I'm taking a piss, I can hear you.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to offer some common sense to us brothers that, you know, let's remove the hate. And if there's anything I've learned from John since I started this show is that, you know, I'm as quick as anybody to bring negative or fun negative conversation to the table, but there's just no point in it, guys, because there's enough doing that over there. So if you see somebody in the gym today who's trying to get after it, don't judge them. Encourage them. The power in that is.
Well, then let's flip it around to the guy that's actually doing something.
Yeah.
A little bit. That's the guy that's working on something a little extraordinary, doing the shit that the guy's talking smack is not. When the guy talks smack, just meet him with a little positivity. You know, don't engage because you're doing what he wants you to do. And in many cases, when you meet him with some positivity, he'll actually flip his script, you know, because a lot of times that negative reaction is something that just he did without thinking about it. You give him the opportunity to come back with something positive. In many cases, he'll do it.
Yes. Well, Johnny, I was talking. Oh, yeah, you heard my comments. Or I had a guy here who was
just like you're talking about. Yeah,
who told he was a waste of skin. I was like, dude, like, come on, like, and it made me almost. It brought tears to my eyes because I looked at the picture of the fellow. The guy's probably our age, Johnny. I'm thinking to myself, man, if you're feeling that horrible about yourself because somebody's telling you you're a waste of skin, I want you to come on the show because you're not a waste of skin. Like, you got a story to tell. We all got our stories to tell, and you know that's why we do what we do here on the show here. So, all right. Well, listen, I promised Jimmy and the gang here we would do a 75, 80-minute show here today because we've just been creating content left and right. So today we are going to get to our creator spotlight, Johnny, which is that segment of the show where we connect with humans on the platform. And today we have somebody who's all about not having to sacrifice success in order to create from a place of true authenticity and inspiration. And this guy teaches what freedom looks like. And most entrepreneurs, Johnny, they chase success. But what if success was a sacred act? What if scaling your business wasn't about grinding harder, but aligning deeper? Too many entrepreneurs are stuck in the, I want to be hero trap. Always putting out fires, just putting out fires left and right, always saving the day and pushing their biggest vision aside for someday. And I know, guys, it sounds familiar to some of you, but here's the truth. Your business can't thrive if it's built on burnout. It ain't going to happen. Nope, it's not going to happen. And there's one person, John, helping entrepreneurs break free from this cycle. This guy's not just talking strategy. He's talking soul level transformation, because business isn't separate from life. And this is something I like to laugh about often with folks, is that you got your professional life, you got your personal life. No, it's your life. It's your life, who you are. You know, and like, as Johnny, as you say, how you show up for one thing is how you show up for everything. So if you're going to show up for business, you know, acting differently than how you're showing up for your life, you're probably not going to have success in anything, frankly. So, you know, you gotta, you know, lean into both your professional and your personal life, because it's ultimately a reflection of who you are at your core. Listen, today, our creator spotlight for Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. Jimmy, I'm going to pull this up onto the horizontal here, pal, is, where is it over here? Is Phil Powis. Phil, we're joining you here today on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. We're celebrating you here today, my friend. So, Johnny, Phil's got a big presence over on the LinkedIn platform, and he's got a big presence over on the Substack platform where we've been hanging out with him. And He's a Harvard University Extension School guy. He's from San Jose, Costa Rica. He's all about helping you grow your business and talking about sacrifice success in order to create from a place of true authenticity and inspiration. I've been following Phil's content on Substack and on LinkedIn, and I love the stuff he puts up there. He's all about creating that sacred space, means embracing both spiritual and material aspects of your work, your business, because it's an extension of your highest self. Phil's not about separating yourself into these different kind of compartments, all about embracing both spiritual and material. So nation, if you're looking to connect with a human being that can help you become the superhero that you are without sacrificing success in order to create space from a place of true authenticity, you want to connect with Phil Powis, this morning's Morning in the Lab Creator Spotlight. So there we go, Jimmy. There we go, Johnny. There's Phil. He's our Creator Spotlight here today. Phil, I love your content over on Substack. I love it on LinkedIn. Let's connect. And then, Phil, we want to get you here on the show so we can take somebody in your orbit to celebrate them on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. All right, Johnny, that's it, man. Good show today. Great show today. Good energy and a lot of fun and a lot of laughter. Justin was great dropping bombs here. The guy just dropped bomb after bomb, didn't he?
Yeah, if you think about it, this foundation was faith, and let's get rid of the titles. Let's get rid of the word, Bible and God.
I know.
Just get rid of that stuff and just think about: do you believe?
Yes.
Do you believe in your plan, or do you believe in the fact that the mistakes you make are part of your journey that are necessary? Do you believe? If you believe that, it's easy to hard charge that stuff. If you don't believe, very difficult.
I'm really glad you said that, and I'm glad we're talking more about it, because I know, again, we're the same age, and we grew up in an era where I know we did, where when all of a sudden somebody mentions God or they mention the Bible, naturally, Johnny, we all gonna go, oh, we get our backs up, or we kind of go, oh, what's he gonna say, or oh, is this person gonna try to shove these thoughts or beliefs down my back? When the reality is, no, it's just what centers them. And like you said, it's having a belief in something. And it's about purpose, isn't it, Johnny? Right? It's like, yeah, this is my purpose. This is what I believe in. This is how I start my day. And if that's what it takes, whether it's a journal, whether it's a book, whether it's a spiritual belief, that to me is the center of success. So I love the fact we're talking more about it, actually.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's a lot of times people they'll try to, run with their belief, so to speak, or run with their faith. And something will happen, they'll, like, especially with money, people will make a mistake with money and they'll realize, oh my God, I got to retreat. Okay, learn from your mistake.
That's it.
But to retreat and run the other way, probably not part of your plan. That's just the knee-jerk reaction of a human.
That's right.
So I always remind myself, I had to lose 10,000 to make my first 100. I had to lose 100 to make my first million. It's like, that's part of the process.
I love that you said that earlier. And, Rick Kletke coming in says all things are possible if you only believe. I love that you said that, John, because I think sometimes, again, we don't say it enough, that in order to win, you have to fail. Like you're going to lose before you win. Like it's very rare you're going to walk up to the counter and immediately win $100,000. I'm just using a metaphor. You're more than likely going to make some bad decisions. You're going to fall on your ass. You're going to lose 10 grand, lose 20 grand, lose 30 grand before you finally make the 100. And not for everyone, but I love that you really leaned into that whole concept of failure is more than, it's an absolute part of the process to success. There's just no doubt about it. It's back to the gym, right? It's back to the gym. You can't 300 pounds, still doing 100 first. Doesn't work that way.
Yeah. You're either winning or learning.
Yeah.
You realize that you have one of those two. The only problem is that people, in many cases, they don't learn when it's time to learn.
Yes.
Because anybody can take the win. Yeah. The win part's easy. Oh shit. Put the feather in your cap. Feel good. Give yourself a pound on the back. That's easy. But when you get your ass kicked, when you lose something, are you learning? Because if you're learning, that's just part of the plan.
Yeah. I love learning. And I got so much energy right now after today's show, because I feel like I learned a lot. We had a great conversation. We had good energy coming in here. So, but it's this time. So we're going to get out of here and rock and roll. What do you got on the agenda today, brother? What's keeping you active today?
I got back right after we finish here, and diving back into building my team out and working
Nice.
on some advertisements. It's going to be a fun day.
Beautiful, beautiful. We'll look forward to hanging out with you again tomorrow morning. I enjoyed our conversation today. And I got to tell you, man, I was looking through some of your content over the weekend. Just, I don't know, I was on the internet just doing shit. You were, dude, you were a handsome young chap growing up there, Mr. Young John Anderson. I was looking at you going, wow, I'm thinking the chicks were knocking on John Anderson's door. And I know we've joked about it on the show here where that's been part of your journey. But, dude, I was looking at you going, fuck, man, I could see the chicks just knocking on Anderson's door left and right.
That was part of the distraction that I had a hard time getting control of, for sure. Because there's a way to be in that space and be in a space and be productive, and there's a way to be in that space and be very, non-productive, to say the least. And it took me a few years to get a grip on that one. That's for sure.
Non-productive.
Yeah.
Is that what you call it?
Well, it was just, because when it comes down to it, it's like, I guess when it come down to it, I was just after the wrong shit.
Yeah.
And what it did is it created a whole bunch of misunderstandings. I didn't like, just to sum it up, I know we're getting off the show, but I involved myself with, too many of the ones that knocked on the door that were great looking. I almost always let in. The problem was that sometimes they fucking had a laundry list of fucking problems that came along with those looks.
Yes.
And then, so what I quickly did was, I didn't even know it, is that I had really developed the wrong perception of what a relationship with a female was. So then when I started, some good ones were coming around, I got a little bit better with keeping the door closed and let the right ones in. I didn't know how to fucking do it. My idea of a good relationship was so skewed. So it took a while to get that part straightened out.
I think we can take some time over the coming weeks to have this conversation, because I'm sure there's guys, Johnny, that are starting their journeys or are along with us that are maybe experiencing some of the shit that you've gone through, that have or have made bad decisions or going through bad decisions, right?
My mom summed it up. My oldest brother and myself are really alike.
Yeah.
And what she said was, and my mom is a fucking wise lady. She's got multiple master's degrees, and she's been on a self-improvement journey her whole life.
Yeah.
And what she said about me, she said basically to me and my older brother, she said, sex came too easy for us.
Yeah.
And because of that, it really skewed our perspective on what it was supposed to be.
Oh, interesting. Wise words from mom, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, because when sex became quick and easy for you, every pun intended, it didn't give you any reason to learn how to build the relationship for the other 23 hours and 58 minutes of the day when the 2 minutes of sex was done, right? It's like, okay, 2 minutes of sex is done. Oh, we now have to have a relationship for the next 23 and a half hours.
Well, the problem solving was like, okay, how do I get her out of here now? rather than trying to understand the person and understand the relationship and understand the dynamic. Those problems weren't being solved. There was no learning on that side of the fence. The learning was, how do I somehow figure out a scenario where when I'm done, I can get her the fuck out of here so I get a good night's sleep.
That was the learnings. Do I?
And that wasn't serving me. It wasn't serving me at all. And at the time I thought it was. I thought it was fucking great. But what I didn't realize, I was digging myself a deep fucking hole to climb out of.
Yeah. Well, and Rick comes back with as we wrap up here, moms know shit. We forget that they've been there, done that long before. Moms know everything, man. It's one thing I love about you and our connection, because my mom's the center of my world as well, and I know mom's the center of your world as well. And I think that all of us men, and I always teach my son, man, you got, at the end of the day, you have to ultimately respect your mom. Mom is the God, as far as I'm concerned. So.
Yeah, there's no question. I'm a mama's boy to the core for a reason.
There you go. All right, well, listen, guys. Keith and Johnny are going to get out of here. We got a busy day ahead of us. I got International Chest Day today. Johnny's got some back workout content to make. On behalf of myself, John Anderson, Seamarty Fit, producer Jimmy, it was a great show, Rick. I appreciate you hung out with us for a good part here today. I appreciate hanging out with us, Rick, as always. And we'll see you guys back here tomorrow. Jory was here. Justin was here. Marty was here. On behalf of Amy Reinhardt, Jeremy Cunningham is here. Adam Holroyd is here as well. Lauren checked in as well. I'm Keith Bilous. That's John Anderson. Scott Benzie was here. Producer Jimmy's on the buttons. Tommy's in the community. We will see you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern time, right here on YouTube, LinkedIn, X. Mornings and Alive with Keith and Friends. We're going to get out of here. We'll see you guys. Let's get out of here, Jimmy.